Romans chapter 14. The context for this chapter comes from the first verse, and there's an example given in verses 2 through 4. Him that is weak in faith receive ye, but not to doubtful dispensations. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God hath received him. The Lord is telling us through Paul that the strong is to receive the weak in faith. Okay? The strong is studied. He knows that the Lord has cleansed all meats. But the weak or newly born again Christian has not yet come to that knowledge yet. We are to receive him as the Lord hath received us, with all long suffering and doctrine. And later he will come to know the truth for himself and act upon it accordingly. Okay, some more verses that go along to help support this right here are, one is in 1 Corinthians 8:9. But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak. Okay, verses 11 and 12. And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom Christ died. But when ye sin so against the brethren, and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Christ. Okay, that's what it's talking about here in Romans chapter 14. Another verse to go along with it is in Matthew chapter 18, verses 5 and 6. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Okay, that's the Lord emphasizing himself here, that we are to receive the weak. Okay, and this is not talking literally about a little child here. If you back up to verse 3, you'll see who this is talking about. And said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Okay? The Lord is comparing this to a little child, because a little child receives everything his parents tells him. And that's exactly the way the Lord expects us to be. When the Lord tells us to do something, we should just say 2 words, and that's, yea, Lord, and do it. Okay? Another example given in Romans 14 is in verses 5 and 6. One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. He that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day to the Lord, he doth not regard it. He that eateth, eateth to the Lord, for he giveth God thanks. And he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not, and giveth God thanks. If a weak brother regards a day differently from us, whether it be the Sabbath or some other day, we are not to destroy that weak brother with our knowledge. With study, he will come to know the truth for himself and act upon it accordingly. This does not change the Lord's Sabbath, as most preach it. Paul is simply talking about a weak brother that has not come to that knowledge of the truth yet. Okay? Because a weak brother does not eat meat, does that change the Scriptures? No. Neither does it change the commandment to remember the Lord's Sabbath. When I became born again, it took me a while to receive many things. The Sabbath and graven images were just 2. Okay? But as I studied the Scriptures concerning the Sabbath and graven images were overwhelming. Now I keep the Lord's Sabbath, as I also threw away all of my graven images. This did not come overnight. But in the meantime, my brothers in the Lord did not destroy me with their knowledge, but exhorted me with doctrine, and in time I came to know the truth for myself. There are no laws changed in Romans chapter 14. As the context is given in verse 1 of 14, I think a perfectly good conclusion for chapter 14 is in verse 1 of chapter 15. Let's read that. We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. That's what Romans 14 is covering. This is not an excuse to not keep the Sabbath. This is simply telling the strong in faith to receive the weak in faith. Thank you.